Good morning. It is amazing what a little hair color can do. I mean, it's not just hair color, it's like refreshing into back to normal, back to baseline, back to who I'm meant to be. Like, color gives me calm, gives me confidence. It all might seem silly, but for me, Karen took me yesterday. Karen Shepherd, who's been an angel every day since we've gotten to Naples, took me to her hairstylist yesterday, and she squeezed me in. And not only did she squeeze me in, and that was amazing, I just said, do whatever you want. I don't care. I can't make a decision. I can't think. And she colored my hair, she trimmed my hair. But not only that, our dogs have been Muddy and Sandy since we went through last week, and she gave both the dogs a bath. I mean, above and beyond that, for me, is just like, I can never thank them enough. I can never thank them enough for that, for not only the time she turned up music, we laughed, we shared stories. I felt human, I felt cleansed. It was just a gift. That's the first thing I want. For me, partially getting back to normal is I love to wash the sheets on Saturday morning. Like, there's something about that routine and ritual that just makes me feel like, okay, start the weekend right, do a little cleaning, do a little laundry, and get started. And so starting the day with that just feels really good. Um, and then some people have asked or been concerned about me speaking or working on my Vistage group. But what I want to say about that is this. I spoke twice last week, both virtual, one keynote, one breakout. And doing that is how I serve, is how I fulfill my purpose here, to speak into people, to offer hope, health, happiness, healing, encouragement for setting goals. And growing my Vistage, every time I talk to a business owner, reminds me why I'm doing it. So please don't be concerned that I'm working, because work for me feels like part of the normal, feels like getting back to establishing where I was going and what I was doing and what I need to do, what I feel called to do, which is part of my purpose in this life. Also, I know I posted yesterday, and I'm sorry for any confusion. First of all, my mind's not really clear. Second of all, I know I easily confuse. And third, especially now, I don't mean to. So I wrote yesterday that I miss Greg, and I do miss Greg, but we're not leaving each other. He flew home, not yesterday. Yesterday was Friday. He flew home Thursday night for the weekend. It's his mom's 93rd birthday, and she's moving into senior housing. So he wanted to be with her for that. But we are still together and strong and have a beautiful marriage and partnership. So I wanted to tell you that. I also had to laugh at two, I want to say tragedies, but really not tragedies at all. Two inconveniences yesterday. One, I got stung by a bee on the top of my foot twice. And two, yesterday morning, as I was getting up, I take the dogs out in the dark once. And when I went out the second time with my shoes outside, there's poop all over them. And so I just think it made me laugh, but also made me say, never say, can things get worse? Because things can always get worse, right? Like, even when things are good, they can get worse. And so I'm just super, I feel good today. I still feel my whole body really hurts. I think I broke my shin like 3 years ago, and I never dealt with it. So that's really hurting. My back, my arms really hurt. My whole physical body just feels exhausted and fatigued, let alone my mind. And so I feel bad. I have not, for whatever reason, I have not returned a lot of people's phone calls. And for whatever reason, talking on the phone is so stressful to my brain and exhausting. I can talk on Zoom or FaceTime much easier, but people are telling me things on the phone, and I know when I hang up, I really don't know what they said. Like, I cannot process auditory, which is always hard for me anyway, but it's very fatiguing, and it's very, I can't focus. So I just wanted to say that if I'm not returning your call, or if you're saying something to me and you are talking to me and I don't appear to be listening, it's just, I can process video better and FaceTime, but the talking, I cannot process it. And I know my body's like in shock and coming down. I also want to say, I know how miraculously, amazingly blessed I was, how I continue to be blessed, how there's angels all around us. I have had so many people go above and beyond in my presence. It's amazing. I take my dog out. We walk both the dogs in the morning, but one of the dogs doesn't walk far. So I got to pull him in my wagon, and my wagon's still really muddy and dirty. And I know some of the neighbors probably think, what are you doing? But it walked off of Fort Myers Beach, off the island with me. So we haven't had a chance to clean it yet. But yesterday, like people were offering free bottles of waters. We walked down the street. I decided I wanted to go to the theater. Like sometimes I feel like I have to have an out of body to get out of where I'm at. And so we went to actually a play last night, or half of it. We left at intermission, and they let us hold the two dogs, Karen and I, in the play. And the dogs have been traumatized too. And Katie, yes, I'm going to reach out to you, and we're going to work on the dogs when I can do that and sit and be focused. I really want to get back to work. I do fly out Sunday. I still want to continue to speak, to grow my Vistage. I see it launching in Minneapolis in January. I know I have a lot of work to do, but I'm going to do it. But what I wanted to really share with you guys today, as I'm rambling, is I met Peanut, Leo. Oh, hold on a second. Oh my gosh, Leo, no. Come here. Oh my gosh, I have two dogs fighting. Anyway, what I wanted to share with you that I want to share quick before I leave is that Leo welcome to my world. Oh, now I can't see. And I'm going to Florida Speakers Association today because I'm going to do that on Zoom because I need some normal, but I missed my devotional reading yesterday. I honestly don't know why, because I love to start my day with that, but it was about Leo, leave your brother. It was, sorry, you probably all signed off by now. Oh my gosh, now I'm losing Elizabeth's marker. Yesterday was about let all who take refuge in you rejoice. Let them shout for joy forever, relying on the Lord, rejoicing in the Lord. And I think it was really about refuge. It was about like how when we feel lost or alone. And it's Psalm 5:11 that says, let all who take refuge. No, Leo, leave Peanut alone. Oh my gosh. Does anybody need a dog for a while? Sorry, boys. Anyway. Oh my gosh. Deep breath. It was just rely on the Lord in all things. Let all who rejoice, who put their trust in you. And then she gave us a little thing about a frog, fully rely on God. And it was just about anxiety and mental illness and depression and what people do to survive that. And growing up for me in a family with a lot of mental health and a lot of addiction, it is an intentional act every single day to take care of myself. And whether that means talking to people or not talking to people, or sleeping or not sleeping, or drinking a lot of water, or having alone time. As much as I'm an extrovert, I feel so overwhelmed right now. It's really hard to be around people. It's really hard to answer questions and to walk through what I went through. And yet this morning, as I read Facebook, I mean, I was saved by grace and by angels. And I read about a man that swam holding his box, with his suitcase with his cats in, to his mother's, and then rescuing his mom, and then swimming again. And people that were hanging on by a roof, by a board. And I shared it on my Facebook. And if you get a chance to read it, they lost like 8 businesses and barely are alive. And I mean, just the stories that continue to come out are so horrific. And that's what I wanted to give you an update on, is that I'm not really in any hurry to get back to the island. It's pretty traumatic, but my understanding is someday next week, they don't know which day yet, they're going to let one person from each household get on a bus and go back to our home and take a couple suitcases out. So Greg will probably go. I don't know if they can let people in our building, if it's even structurally sound, but if they can let you in at all, you have to get on a bus, one person per household, and you can get a couple of suitcases. And they're starting at the North Island, which our island is 7 miles long. So they're starting at the North Island by address and letting a few people come every day. They haven't exactly released what day or how they're going to do it. Again, I'm in no hurry to get back. Again, I thank Lee County and the Sheriff Department for what they are doing, because some people are getting frustrated about moldy clothes. And for me, it's like, oh my gosh, like they're still rescuing people that are survived and injured, or people that are dead, and honoring that life so the family can, like, who cares about stuff? I mean, I know it is our stuff, and I know I have to rebuild, and you guys have been amazing. People have sent money and Amazon gift cards, and I think I have more clothes than I do, but I don't really, but I'm okay. Actually, Greg and I went and I found a couple dresses on clearance at Ann Taylor last week, because I do get to speak twice this week. And so we're going to be fine. We're fine. We're great. We are beyond blessed. We feel every love and prayer and angel. I'm not going to cry. And yeah, but some people, oh my gosh, the devastation is beyond words. And if and when we ever get to go back to our home on Fort Myers Beach, but I know what I was going to say is, sorry for is this mental health. She was saying, rely on God in all things. And when I am in devotional and when I exercise, that's why I moved to the beach, is that having stuff has never fed my soul, but walking in God's presence and walking along the beach and raising my hands as the ocean waves crash and singing praise and just being grateful and just flowing love and appreciation to God and grounding my feet in the sand of being present right here, right now, and getting refilled so that I can get up every day and go pour into people with words and actions. And I miss my books, as silly that might sound to some of you. That's kind of the thing I miss from my house, because I like to have my books with me, because every day I try to give away 3 books. Like, I love to just randomly walk up to someone that looks sad or discouraged or struggling and just give them a book. Like, that for me brings me joy. It's like, hey, here's some encouragement, or here's a little love. And sometimes they look at me weird, but I had one 19-year-old man in Orlando. I was speaking at a conference and he was my valet. And when I was leaving, I gave him a pineapple book and I just said, "You are a pineapple person. I saw you look up at me and you were kind." And then I left and I was actually lost. I was trying to meet somebody. Now I can't even think of your name, and maybe you're watching, but you're from Central Florida, NSA. Is it Stacy? Stacy, I think. I'm sorry. My brain is having trouble processing everything. But right before I met her, my phone rang and it was that young man. And he just said, "Thank you so much for the book." He said, like, people don't see me, people don't value me. I'm only 19, but I have a lot of big dreams. And today you made me feel seen and loved and valued. And I'll always cherish your pineapple book. I'll always be a pineapple person, and never stop doing what you're doing, because you're making a huge difference in the world. And I guess that's why I miss my books. It seems silly to me to miss my books, but I wanted to bring a suitcase of books off, but they're just too heavy. And I like to bring them to my clients. I like to give them away when I speak, and whatever. I can get new books someday and it's fine. I'll get them. Don't worry about me. But anyway, this was about mental health and about trusting God, and about this person said she struggled with depression in her life. And I'm like, I struggled with depression when I was young, really bad. And so sometimes I talk to treatment centers and I say, I'm in recovery. I'm not sober. I was sober for 3 years, and that was 19 or 4 years, 19 to 23. And it was so good for me to get counseling and get sober. But I'm in recovery from growing up in a depressed household and living in heaviness and darkness of depression and hopelessness, and now being hopeful, and not just being hopeful, but being able to offer that hope and encouragement to other people as we look back and we look forward. So I missed yesterday's devotional, which was about that and trusting God. But then today's devotional was, after all these things, the Gentiles seek, for your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But seek first the kingdom of God and righteousness, and all these things will be added on to you. Matthew 6:32 and 33. And what I loved about that was, there's 2 stories in here. One's about Queen Elizabeth, and a man was called to serve her. And he's like, what about my company? What about my family? What about, I can't really leave everything. And she said, don't you worry. You serve, and it will be given unto you tenfold. And ultimately, when he got done serving the kingdom, when he went back, he had tenfold the companies, and they had given him more companies and more business, and he was blessed 100 times. And then another woman, even sadder story in that devotional, is her children were kidnapped, 4 of her children, and she was a missionary. And God just kept reminding her, just trust me. I love them more than you do. I love them more than you do. And all 4 of her children were safely given back to her. And I'm saying that because in every moment of my day right now, I have to just trust. I have to trust other people. I have to trust God. I have to trust it'll work out. I have to trust, just everything. And anyway, I am trying to trust, and I am trusting. I'm trusting God, and angels are being sent, and people have been kind, and it's a lot. But every day is better, and every day my hair makes me feel like human again, and working makes me feel like I'm making a difference, but also fills me. I love to speak. I love to facilitate. I love to serve. So I got a few texts yesterday from people concerned, am I ready to go speak, to continue to grow my Vistage group? But I will say this to you. it is healing for me to be able to go speak. And when I speak on H3 Cultures about hope, health, and happiness, it also heals me as much as it heals my audience to remember how far I've come, to look back, to look forward. And I know someday that I will look back on this season and see how far I've come and how strong I am. And yes, I know many of you believe I'm very strong and resilient, and I am, and I will continue to be. But I do have lots of moments of sadness. And even when it doesn't make sense, somebody said yesterday, there's nothing to be sad about now. Well, for me, there's a lot of tenderness. I am very tender-hearted. Oh, I know. I had one funny joke for you today. They say humor helps relationships. So I was saying to my husband the other night, I said, are you sure you really wanted to get married? Like this was like this, look at, is it really for better or for worse, and sickness and in health and rich, poverty and wealth, and whatever all the verses that you say or vows that many people say. I know they're different now, people say their own, but the vows we said to each other. And when we got married, and those of you that were at the wedding will remember this, literally the priest, got married in a Catholic church, my husband and I, and the priest had known me since and all, and literally doing a homily and weddings and our future and blessings. He literally did a 45-minute warning to my husband. Are you sure you want to marry that woman? She's a hopeless romantic. She's tenderhearted. Everything affects her. She's overly sensitive. She expects the world to be like a romantic rom-com. Are you sure you want to do this? And Greg said to me yesterday, I don't know, I thought it wasn't yesterday, someday this week. I thought it was funny. He said, it was kind of like the warnings of the hurricane. You were a warning to me, like, are you sure you're in for this woman? She is something, to say the least. And his friends were like, was that a homily or like a warning? And Greg said, I said yes then, and I say yes forever. And just like the hurricane, we survived, and we're going to survive this. I don't know. I'm not saying it right. When he said it, it was funny. And then he said, ha, I'm trying to be funny now. Because I always think I'm funny, but he thinks he's funny. And don't we all think we're funny, kind of? Anyway, it was about something about the hurricane and how he wouldn't have rather gone through it with anybody than me. And so anyway, I'm better every day, better doing laundry, cleaning the kitchen, walking the dogs. Today I'm going to FSA, which is Florida Speaker Association. So I know I have a lot of friends that want to be speakers or that are speakers. There's actually 2 chapters in Florida. Both are amazing. One is in Tampa area, and that's Central Florida Speakers. One is Florida Speakers Association. That's kind of the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. I think I'm still totally directionally challenged in Florida, but I'm pretty sure that's it. The Minnesota chapter is amazing. Pretty much every chapter is amazing. And not just amazing. You don't go there if you're looking to get a bunch of speaking. That's not what it's for. And it's also not to learn to speak, but it's to learn the business of speaking and to be surrounded by a community of supporters that on your best days are there cheering you on, and that are on your worst days are there holding you and carrying you. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I am grateful. I am grateful. I'm grateful for the angels. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful God loves me. I'm grateful there's another side to this that's brighter and more beautiful than I can imagine, even if it involves snow. I'm grateful for Carol Ring, who sent me an edible fruit tray of chocolate and fruit yesterday that just brought me to tears. Like, when you love me, when you send me some love through a card or a text, I feel held. And my ground is still shaking a little, less than before, but when you hold me, it's less shaky. And I thank you for that. And every day, a little bit better. So thank you for those of you that hung in there and listened. I know I'm kind of all over the place, and I apologize. Oh my gosh, I'm rambling on today. But I hope you have a super Saturday, and I hope your soul is healed. And I hope you know that when you love another person, whether that be me or someone else, it is the greatest gift that you can give is to love and to forgive and to hug and to hold and to encourage. So thank you for all of you that are doing that for me and that are doing that for each other. God bless.